All right, everyone. Welcome once again. It is Friday, and you know what that means. It is time for Stop Being the Best Kept Secret. We are going to have so much fun today because we're going to be talking about digital game plan strategies with Truco Machine. We got Andy with us here, and we got that pretty gentleman right over there, Kurt Anderson, is going to take it away, and we're going to have some fun. So let's get going.
Damon, thank you, brother. Happy Friday to you, man. How you having a good week?
Yeah.
Okay, well, because football season's over, right? Didn't it end last week?
For some people.
Around here it did.
So for our dear friend Damon in Seattle, he's got another week, so maybe a few weeks. So, well, Damon, congratulations. Rooting you on this weekend. Hope you have a great week or good weekend. We've got Andy O'Connor in the house, dude. Man, I'm just so juiced, so fired up. Andy, happy Friday. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure. My goodness gracious. Andy, we've got a ton of are you sitting down? Are you ready for this?
I am sitting down.
All right, that a boy. We're going to go fast and furious. Andy, my first question for you. Okay. First question for Andy O'Connor, and he's the CEO extraordinaire at Truco Machine. Andy, when you were a little guy growing up in Buffalo, New York, who was your hero? Who did you look up to? Who did you worship? Like, who was your hero when you were a little guy growing up?
That's easy. It was my father.
Awesome. Great answer. So do share. Let's hear all about Dad.
Well, my father, he, grew up kind of in Buffalo, and he's always a mechanical person. And he got into hydroplane racing when he was young. And then he worked for Dunlop Tire. And he did a lot of cool stuff there. Like he worked with the tire development people, and he was literally like at Formula One races and IndyCar and Daytona. And he was racing himself in the boats. And then eventually what happened is he decided to start an engine business. So it was Truco Engine. And basically he bought out a retiring guy's equipment, and for 40 plus years he was the master engine builder around this area. And a little over 20 years ago I helped take over the business, and about 7 years ago or 8 years ago now we got into CNC machining, and unfortunately we don't do engines anymore because we kind of morphed out of it. But we still have our roots there, but it kind of taught us a lot of how to take things apart, put it together, how things work. And, now the main focus is we do a lot of work in the pharmaceutical industry and the food industry, making parts for them and rebuilding things. And so, we wouldn't be here without my father.
Wouldn't be here without Dad. And Dad's name, please?
James O'Connor.
James O'Connor. So, all right. So, little guy growing up in Buffalo, what inspired you to get involved in the business?
I think just always being around it, and just, spending time in the shop. I used to come to work with my dad. Obviously, lunch was the biggest deal for, a 10-year-old, 12-year-old kid. Like, when's lunch? But just being around it, talking to the guys that work there, and finding something to do. Like the first thing that any kid would do in our shop was you use the glass beating cabinet, like sandblasting some parts and stuff. I've actually had my son doing that now. So
very cool.
Just being around, and decided, somebody's got to do this. So that's what I did.
I tell you, it's so common family business that, you're going with Dad, and it just kind of like, it just sinks into your DNA. And then next thing you know, you're just, you're talking about it at the dinner table, holidays. And then next thing you know, you're working there. Is that kind of how it rolls?
Yeah. I mean, for me, like I was coming in here when I was not at school. Oh, nice shirt, Kurt. You got
just
it.
For you, brother. Just for you. Look, I'm flying the colors today, man.
Yeah. For me, it was like just, you had a day off of school and you got sent to work.
Yeah.
So
Did didn't even have an option. So, all right,
It was
great
like a
answer.
daycare.
So dad was your hero growing up. You got into your DNA, and then when you were a little guy, did you want to be an entrepreneur? Did you want to be fireman? How did you ever have those aspirations, or what are your thoughts there?
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of business, so I did get a business degree. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you must have went to school for machining or mechanics or something like that." No, I didn't ever a day in my life. I just learned it here.
Yeah.
So I did go down to Florida and went to college down there for business.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, hey, we got Diane Byers here today.
Yeah. Hey, Diane. Happy Friday to you. Here we go. Thanks for stopping by today.
And speaking of, I know her dad's her hero, and she followed his footsteps on entrepreneurship. Yeah. So it's a very common theme here. So, Andy, you started talking a little bit about Truco and like the transition. I want to dive. I want to go a little bit backwards. So you talked a little bit about what you guys do at Truco Machine. I want to dive in first, and then we're going to come back to I want to dive into a little bit of that transition, how you went from engines into machines. But share with folks out there, who is Truco Machine? How do you guys make the world a better place?
Well, we're a CNC machine shop, and we've kind of found our niche where we go work with production plants. Our largest customers are pharmaceutical plant, and kind of get in and meet the maintenance people there, and learn about their equipment, and then figure out where we can offer solutions for their problems as far as like, we don't have any of these parts. A lot of their equipment's made in Europe, and parts are really hard to come by. And so we've invested into some technology so we can actually scan parts and reverse engineer them, and then we machine them and we make them brand new right here.
Yeah.
Tonawanda, New York, for the customer that's here in town. So
yeah,
it's morphed into, we eventually got rid of the engine business, and last year was it for engines. We're done with it. So
that's cool.
It's a little bittersweet because I spent so many years in it, but in the same token, the engine business changed.
Yeah.
How many engines have you guys had to rebuild? Probably none. So the work was kind of going away. I saw a CNC machine at they call it the Performance Racing Industry Show in Indianapolis. It's a big thing if you're into racing or engines or any of that stuff. It's the biggest show they have. I went one time and I saw a CNC machine making a block for an engine out of a giant piece of aluminum. It was running for the entire show. The program was so large. And I was just watching that and I'm like, that's cool. And then Mike, he's married to one of my wife's best friends growing up. He was also CNC machinist, and where he was working, he wasn't getting paid and it was going downhill. And so between the two of us, we bought a mill, we brought it in here, and then over time I got rid of this piece of engine equipment, that piece of engine equipment, and then last July it all went, and we got 4 CNC machines. I just brought in a whole bunch of manual equipment that I bought a shop out down in Pennsylvania, moved it all up here. And so, that kind of rounds out what we have. Yeah. And then over the course of doing this, our customers like, hey, can you make this? Hey, can you make that? And Mike's like, I don't have any way to measure the radius here, on these parts. And so we invested in, it's called, it's made by Zeiss, which is a pretty high-end equipment company. Yeah. It's called the GOM Scan 1. So it's a 100-millimeter camera and uses blue light technology. And we've got a turntable. So you put the part on it, hook the computer and the camera to it, and we scan like a part on this turntable. And then we can make it into a digital image, and we can actually pull coordinates off of it. It took us years to learn how to use it, but now we can scan a product and we can take it all the way through the software to make a CAD file and then machine code. And the end result is something that's pretty much identical to whatever we scanned. It's within tenths of a thousandth of an inch in accuracy.
Yeah.
So we've been doing this for our local customer, and there's, a lot of opportunity out there, and just trying to get the word out that, we can do this for people.
Yeah.
I've got an example of something that we have scanned.
Yeah.
This is a cam. So it's
Yep.
kind of ironic.
Specially made cam like that.
This
Something
is-
following it. Yeah.
So this opens a bioport door in a pharmaceutical filling machine. It's a very specific piece.
Yeah.
And they're pretty tricky to make, but this is a result of that camera. There's no other way you can figure that all out without that camera.
Right.
You know, and these things are made in France by the OEM. They take a super long time to get.
Yeah.
They get, you know, the operators. This little knob here is what the levers connect to, and that gets twisted and it's done, right? So they can't even get the supplies they need, so they have to make them local.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where we come in. That's our bread and butter right there. So
Right.
we do
Well,
stuff
and you
like that.
think about it. There's a ton of that equipment around that's so specialized and so all the way from, like you said, pharmaceuticals. There's other chemical processes. There's paper making. There's all just tons of different food. Yeah, food would be a huge one, like you said.
Food's a big one for us. We have a couple nice
Yeah.
customers in the food business.
Yeah, just because it's so specialized.
So the thing is, Andy, when you think about, when we talk about like, hey, how do you make the world a better place?
Yeah,
You know, so you're a pharmaceutical company. I don't know, Damon, typically if you're in the pharmaceutical space, you're making something kind of important, like maybe you're, I don't know, maybe you're saving lives or, you know, like, you know, whatever it might be. And so the cool thing is, not the cool thing, you know, when that piece of machinery goes down, and like Andy, like the way you're describing, hey, this machine comes from, you know, Switzerland, France, whatever, and one little part, just, you know, we're at a halt.
stops.
You know, thousands of dollars, you know, probably tens of thousands of dollars per hour. And so
Yes.
Andy, now, and Damon, I've seen it in person. What Andy does, he throws on his cape, and then he shows up and he saves the day. Andy, is that how that goes?
I just go and they call me. I don't know if I put a cape on, but
Hey, come on, we got to.
That would be good though.
We're live here. It's good for the media, right? It's good to make it, embellish it a little bit. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's cool.
So anyway, so now maintenance Mike or maintenance Mark or whoever that customer reaches out to you, like, hey Andy, and you can dive into this a little bit. You do a lot of proactive work, but when they're in a reactive, like, oh my goodness, like we're at a halt right now, you come over, and so that's when you start the process of that reverse engineering. Is that kind of how it works on your end?
yeah. So typically the process, the first time we make it is the longest, right? It's one of those things. So if you're down to your last known good part, or the second to last known good part, we would like one of those couple last known good parts in our hands so we can take the time to reverse engineer it before you put the last one in and it
Pull
fails.
the broken one out and give it to you. Try to rebate it, kind of like.
That's the worst case scenario. It's a lot easier to take one good piece, you know, and send it off. Obviously, the best way to do it is if they have their own print, right? Like here's a print exactly what we want. Yeah. But what we found is that a lot of these companies, they don't have anybody to make a print of the part. They just have that part in their hand, like we need this, and so that's what it comes down to. Is we're not using a print very often, which kind of separates us from other machine shops, because most machine shops, you walk in there like, hey, can I get a price on this? Where's your print? So, you know, it kind of eliminates some of the battles of competition that you would face. So,
in your reverse engineering to really create like that prototype, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I mean, that's where the heavy amount of time comes in at the beginning. But the nice thing is, you know, you spend a couple weeks making that cam the first time, and then every time after that, then you just pull the programs up and you just make them.
Right.
You know, that's where you really start doing well on a product.
Right.
So we're always open to looking for more of that. And I think that's what our project with Kurt is really about, is trying to find more people that need that specific type of part and a little bit of engineering to go with it. Or, you know, we would like people to stock the parts they need that are made by us, you know. So
I
know there's minimums and things like that. Oh, you need the bill for Ted?
There you go. But yeah, that's because you think about it. If I'm sitting here, I got a machine made someplace else, and it doesn't matter because I know in the equipment industry, I used to buy automated equipment. Not like they'd be like a pharmaceutical. That's a lot more extensive. But just with that, I mean, there's little things that are in those that are doing, like that one you showed, a cam that's flipping a door at the right time, something else that's helping the timing go, and to make these automation systems work and make them simpler. But when they break, you're just kind of, what the heck,
Yeah, you're stuck.
Yeah. And the company, they're off building their next big machine, and it could be months to get a part from them.
It is. Those cams, they waited 3 months, so they're constantly having issues with them. And I honestly think, like, from my engine days, you would give a vendor like a Caterpillar, like, I want this part number, and they're like, that supersedes to this number. I think that's what's going on with this particular place. Is they're still having problems with their product, and so they keep kind of redesigning it. And they waited 3 months for the new version of them to come in, which, lucky for me, they ordered one just for me to have.
Right.
And we now, make the 2.0 design.
Yeah.
So
yeah, very cool.
Well, excellent. Well, Andy, if you don't mind, just we're gonna do a little show and tell. I'm gonna pull up your website, and
very cool.
Gosh, and you've got a really nice website. You guys can see that. So,
oh yeah.
Andy, just share a little bit about, like, when folks land here, what are they seeing, and what's going on your website?
Well, that's a roller for making manicotti being cut off on the lathe.
Nice.
So it's a pasta company we deal with. That's a Teflon roller that we machined for them. That when the manicotti comes down the line, this is the roller here that, like, forms the twist in the shell.
Yeah.
It's just something that we made, and Kurt, during the process, he's like, you need a hero video. And so Mike and I, we set that part up to video it, and kind of became the video that you're showing off the part coming off the machine, ready to go.
Yeah.
So,
super cool. Super cool.
Yeah.
There's so much of that stuff too. So many different things that you don't really realize how they come to you and how much it takes to get it to you.
Right. Yeah. And it's, that's a part we made a couple times, and I think when they wear them out, they'll probably call again when they look up where did these come from. And, that's another customer that has the minimum maximums in their inventory. So, they're only going to buy so many. Like, say they only can have 8 on the shelf.
Yeah.
But what we'll do is when we work with a customer like that, when you set up a CNC machine for 8 parts, you might as well run 16.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the time is in the setup. It only takes a few minutes for the machine to make that part. It takes an hour or 2 to set it up. So, kind of like another thing that we do for customers is we have a little bit of extra stock on our shelf. Mm-hmm. So if you said, hey, we're out of these, I say, well, I got 4 in stock I can sell you today, and then we'll put in an order for another 8 or 12 or whatever. So and we've had that happen more than once where they'll buy the extras off of our shelf, and my dad used to call that found money.
Yeah.
And my dad we had the part on the shelf somebody needed, you found money. So
very cool. That's really cool how you've positioned what you do, really to solve problems rather than we're a machine shop. Because there's a lot of machine shops, but there's not a lot of people that can do what you do. Hey, give me the physical piece and we'll replicate it.
Yeah, we did like a shaft for a conveyor for the plant, the pharmaceutical plant. That's, hey, the bearing wore through the end of this shaft. Can you fix it by 2:00 today? It was a call first thing in the morning on a Friday.
Yeah.
All right, I'll come over and look. And sure enough, we turned the damage off, machined to sleeve, I pressed it on, figured out how much press it should have, and for the new bearing, and I had it back over there by 1 o'clock. So
wow,
that's
part of. And like you said, Damon, such a different element where, a lot of machine shops, it's great when you get like, hey, we're going to run, 1,000 of these, 1,000,000, whatever, just, it's kind of ding, 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 you're making that same part over and over. This is such a cool niche that Andy's created where he's almost like, it's almost like 911, it's like he could, it's almost like CNC 911, if you will, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it really is, because they're sitting there, as you said before, they got thousands of dollars at stake, and their machine's not running, or their machine, they know they put the last piece in, and that could happen a week from now, and they need to take care of it before it happens.
And it's not going to get any better with the parts coming from overseas. You got tariffs and things now, and the lead times, the expense of the parts. Like some of these parts, when they tell me what the OEM costs, they don't usually tell me, but sometimes I get it, and it's like, really, for that? I'm like,
yes,
I guess I'm cheap.
Yes.
Well, and that's the thing but there's also a price for, your engineering, the machinery, the Zeiss machine that you just described. There's a lot, you and Mike have now created an expertise of, geez, Andy, nothing personal, or sorry, I don't have a drawing. Could you take care of this for me? I mean, that's a big ask. You know what I mean? In the same regard, like they're in trouble. So like, again, back to that 911, like you're coming in really saving a day for that situation, or you save that day. And then when you have things on the shelf at their place or on your place, now you've put out future fires that are now non-existent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of where we want to live with the customer is, work a relationship where, okay, these are the items that we go through often. And, the first time, obviously, like I said, is going to be the longest. But once we get established and have the parts developed and the machine programs written and availability of all the materials and stuff, and we can build that little extra stock for them, it typically works out pretty well.
Yes.
Exactly. So the cool thing is, Andy, so when we met, it's very common contract manufacturer, just, it's, hey, we're out there. We went through the digital game plan process. What really stood out to you as far as like, trying to stop being everything to everybody, but really niching down? Anything that you want to describe, or like, what was your experience kind of going through that digital game plan process?
Well, that it kind of narrowed in like, oh, we want to focus on companies with 300 or more employees, because they seem like they're in the size and shape that they're going to have a maintenance department. They're going to have these problems where they need the parts, made and keep them on the shelf and stuff. And then to the digital game plan to like go through those things and actually get a pretty comprehensive list of potential customers. That was pretty eye-opening to me.
Yeah, and that's what's awesome is like when it just, don't you feel like, I almost feel it's like a sense of relief when like it becomes so daunting of like hey, we can CNC for anybody, or we can bend metal for anyone, versus no, like we crush it. And Andy, that was kind of an aha moment for us when we kept like, hey, who's that ideal customer look like? Who's that soulmate? And all of a sudden it was like, well, this is a major global, pharmaceutical company, and this is a Fortune 500 company, and this is a major food brand. Like that's your sweet spot right there. Are like, not everybody can work with major companies. A lot of companies aren't, a lot of folks aren't equipped to work with major companies. So I think that's a testament to you and your team that you guys like, hey, you know what? Our sweet spot is that 300 and over. They have a maintenance team, but yet they don't have the wherewithal, the means to like re-engineer and make these parts, right? That's kind of the discovery that we had going through that process.
Yeah, for sure. And when you get in and you meet the people that actually make the plants go, and it seems to be like, I guess my kind of people, the maintenance type people, and you could talk the lingo with them and actually sit down and Like I would go to the plant and we do plant shutdowns, and breakfast is a big deal there. I work hand in hand with the machinists or the mechanics there for 10 straight days, and you start at 6 a.m. and so by 8 a.m. you're hungry for breakfast. And the funniest part of what I've been doing is so hot sauce has kind of become my business card. So this is my brother's hot sauce from down in Florida. He has a diner, and it says put some eggs in your hash. So my brother's main dish is corned beef hash, and this is the hot sauce that he makes to go with the hash. It's the Go-Go Diner in Fort Myers, Florida. But I'll put a plug in.
Cool.
Hey, you know what, Andy? With the weather that we're having, we better. I think we deserve a breakfast down at your brother's. We better head down there.
You probably need to do that.
Maybe like the next 2 months or so. But Andy, I didn't tell you, man, and I'm telling you right here live. So Andy gave me a bottle of hot sauce. So my wife does this wonderful Christmas breakfast that we do every year. Family comes over and so on and so forth. And so I broke that out. It was a huge hit, Andy. Everybody,
nice.
So tell your brother, everybody, we celebrated Christmas with your brother. How's that?
That's awesome. There was one of the other contractor guys at the plant this week. I was walking down the hall. I was like, Andy, I've been looking for you. And I was like, oh, yeah. He's like, yeah, can I order a couple bottles of hot sauce, man? I'm all out. I'm like, oh, man, I got one in my truck. I'll give it to you. So,
that's awesome. That's
really
awesome.
a good sales tool.
Damon, we need to get you over here because when you visit Andy, and Diane, you're 100%.
Diane says hot sauce business card. She loves it.
That's
awesome.
exactly so. Diane, he's got cases of the hot sauce, and that's exactly what he does. He uses the hot sauce as a business card.
That's so great.
And he's been talking about private labeling it and putting Truco on the hot sauce, right?
Yeah. But I also like it's my brother's. I could go either way. Like I like pitching my brother's diner with the hot sauce. People know who gave it to him, right?
Yep.
So
man, you know what? I've been meaning to tell you about that. So yeah, you were a huge hit Christmas morning at the Anderson. So anyway, all right, let's get back to so now Andy, being website was not a priority whatsoever. Any digital marketing was not in your lingo, your language. Dude, you got into e-commerce. Like, what on earth is going on here? Like, talk to us about people can actually buy these parts on your website. Is that correct?
Yes, and those are just parts that we manufactured over the years that we had surplus of them. You got the stopper head gear and the stopper head shaft. Those are very specific, right? But those are parts that we sell regularly to our customer here, and those would be off of like a TL pharmaceutical filling machine. Very specific part number. And, we make batches of those for our customer, and we have extras sitting on the shelf. And, if somebody hits on it and wants to buy them directly from us, we're happy to do it. And then we've got the fireman's wedge, Mike's neighbors, the fire chief in the town over where Mike lives. And he's, people make these out of wood. Like, there's another people that make them out of aluminum. You make us some. So, we had some time. We made a whole bunch of those, and a couple local people are using them, but we've got them in stock. So, and then we have some tooling that is used in plants like the pharmaceutical or maybe dairy plant for doing sanitary clamps or pump seals. And so it's just a few things we developed here over the years. It's like, well, we got these in stock. Let's see if they'll sell. So hopefully people find them, and we'll ship them to them. But that's the other thing too, is now if we come up with another one that we want to put on there and grow our marketplace, it's all done. It's ready to go. So we'll see.
So cool.
It's still in diapers, as Kurt said.
Still diapers.
Just born.
Damon, what were you going to share?
No, I think it's cool because you do, and some of those they're niche pieces of equipment, but they do make them for different companies. So it's cool. Or your customers could just order them there if that's what they'd rather do. Because as Kurt always likes to say, if you can sell somebody something at midnight at Friday night when they really need it and you don't have to be there, that's a good thing.
Well, here's the
They'll
thing.
Just call me directly. At midnight on Friday night.
That works too. Yeah.
You got Andy's number.
He's probably at a hockey tournament anyway. So
Yeah.
But the cool thing is here. So
answer.
What's that, Andy?
I'll still answer.
He'll still answer, man. And so the cool thing is here, if somebody actually does, these are so niche, right?
Yeah.
And so, all right, is there a possibility that nobody ever searched for these? Yes, that is a reality. However, if Maintenance Mike has that same machine and he is or she, Maintenance Mike or Maintenance Margaret, right? My mom's name Margaret, so I'm going there again. Yeah. So, and they're out in, Salt Lake City, whatever. And they like, oh my goodness, this stopper headgear isn't working. This such and such part isn't working. And they're like, hey, somebody go Google search it. Somebody get on AI and like, where do we find this? It's so niche. Andy's coming up on virtually number one on all these keywords because there is no competition. Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost them. There's virtually little to no expense to putting this out here. And most importantly, if that engineer lands on here and maybe they don't need like that exact part, but they're like, man, I need something really close to it. Now I can get a conversation going where if Andy just had, I'm a CNC shop, I have no idea what he did, what he does. Right.
Yep. I've seen there's an e-commerce company I'm familiar with out of Illinois that is their strategy to sell niche products like this with, very, very limited demand, but very high value when they're doing this. I mean, because like these items are not $20 items. A lot of these are hundreds of dollars. And you'd look at them and you go, God, that's a $20 item from a CNC perspective. But when you consider where you use it, how much how much depends on it and depends on it working right, they're very expensive.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And especially in the pharmaceutical game, like their parts they're ridiculously expensive. Now there's things you have to know about materials and certifications and processes. And we've learned that over the years, when you make something, for like this cam, you had better have the material certification saying it's 316 stainless. Right. Yeah. Otherwise you can't even bring it in the building.
Yes.
And then that has to be passivated after it's machined and things like that. So I don't know. We just kind of stumbled into that industry and, kind of dove in the deep end, and now that's what we do.
Awesome. Yeah. And so the cool thing is now, and what I really admire, Andy's just really throwing on his marketing entrepreneur hat. And he's like, okay, where are there other e-commerce types of opportunities? Because now these things are scalable. All the customer paid for the upfront engineering, the prototyping, so on and so forth. But now there's scalability opportunity here, and there's nothing proprietary. So it's just like, hey, this is a part that goes on a machine, and who else wants it? And so, it really, what it does, it starts branding Andy as an expert of, like he's got on his website, no print, no problem. I know, Andy, that drives you a little bit crazy because you would love to have that print. But it's also, these guys have the capability and the expertise to reverse engineer that and get those parts on there. So
it's actually, Mike's designing a nozzle rack right now on the computer back there for the gassing nozzles on the filling machine. That's a project we're working on. So we scanned the original, and the original was welded together, and we're re-engineering it so that we're going to bolt the two pieces together with like bolt bosses and make it a little stronger because the weld broke, I guess.
Yeah.
But it also needs to be like the same weight because somebody else tried it and it was way too heavy. It was a couple pounds heavier than the original, and it didn't work. So we basically came up with an idea of how to, save weight here and then also make it a two-piece assembly that bolts together and not welded. And so, it's a project type job. I had to order some special torque wrenches from like a surgical place, that are all sterile and everything. And they told me, I don't know, 4 months or something like that for the torque wrenches. So I said, well, 4 months for the project because the torque wrenches are going to be that long.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things that, okay, well, I never dreamed we'd be setting up to kind of make a whole new setup for this German filling machine.
Yeah.
Here we are. So
that's cool. That's cool.
Absolutely love it. And so, and then we'll start winding down. You know what, Andy, I'd be remiss if I forgot this. So, Andy, first time we met, what did I say to you?
You said you would get on camera if you had this head of hair.
I go, he's a big dude. Like he towers over me, and we're standing there. I'm like, dude, you got great hair, man. I'm like, man, if I looked like you, I'm on camera all the time. I'd be all over the place. So we finally got him kicking and screaming. And even Mike behind him, he's rocking a great head of hair. And we can never get that guy on camera.
Mike doesn't want to be on camera. That's why I'm blocking him.
Mike, hey, give a wave. Let's see your hand back there, Mike. Can we see your? Hey, there he is. There you go. Right. So look at these hands. These two. It should almost be illegal. These two good-looking guys working together. I don't know who put these two together, but
so we're like an old married couple.
Yeah.
We'll tell his wife Becky. So, Andy, as we dove in, you're also doing subject matter expert interviews. Where like if you go Lane on your website, as a matter of fact, I'll pull it back up. You've got all sorts of blog content, like really walking people through that process. So again, if the engineer, maintenance Mike, maintenance Margaret out there, if they have like, oh my goodness, this machine shut down, so and so, get out there and Google it. You now have you're being proactive and putting information out there. Talk a little bit about like how that's been that process of like sharing your expertise in creating those blogs and a website. Anything that you want to share on that front?
Well, with the project we did, it was really seamless because you just basically got me talking and took notes and put the blogs together. I didn't have to do hardly anything. It was wonderful.
That's super cool.
Teresa did it all.
That's right. So it's wonderful, just getting all this information out here and putting out these new blogs and that type of thing. And so and now, like, hey, do you have a new marketing team? Do you not?
Yeah, we just met with her. My wife Becky's gonna do a little side work for the company, and now I have to pay her, but she's gonna take over and get trained up on doing the internet marketing and learn from Kurt and the team on how to maintain and how to reach out to people through LinkedIn, and which I'm happy about that because that's not me. I was over at the plant working on a crusher last night, tearing a broken spring out of it. Like I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
But in the same token, we got that spring out. I went out this morning and, took it to a place that they're trying to get somebody to make us a new one and stuff. So, I'm more the keep the wheels moving guy.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy to have her. She has a day job, but she's excited, I think, about it. What'd you think, Kurt? Was she excited?
She's fired up, Damon. She works at a major university nearby, does a wonderful job. And you know what she said? She's excited to get her creative juices flowing to dive into marketing.
She's a good photographer, I can tell you that. So
yeah, and she said she doesn't really get to take advantage of that with her job at the university.
Yeah,
and so she's really excited to step in. And go ahead, Damon.
Well, and I think one of the things that I've learned and I see in people like your wife, yourself, Andy, is the digital game plan process is fairly simple, right? It's getting the knowledge out of your brain into words, then into text someplace and across the places it needs to be to really educate the customers and the potential customers, because people wouldn't know about what you do if you weren't doing, as many people wouldn't know about what you do without those articles you're putting up, without the social posts that you're doing, without that, because right now, as you know, the buyers get younger. They're all used to, I want to look it up on my phone, figure out who I'm going to use, who
doesn't exist on the internet. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. And it takes that knowledge that you've built over the years and gets it down so it can teach people and they can find the solutions they need.
Yeah, exactly. So
Andy's super excited about it the whole time. So
yeah,
let's go.
So Andy, for manufacturers out there that are maybe where you were a year ago, kind of this whole marketing thing's new, what tips, advice would you share with them? How would they stop being the best kept secret? Where would be a good place for them to start? Call Ryan Case, call their local MEP.
Yeah. Right? just I always imagine myself like when I was in college, I took a little computer programming class, and then I didn't really get it, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna build a website one day. I'm gonna build a website one day, and it just never really, I had some people. I think one guy on my hockey team's brother did the first website for a few $100. It wasn't something that I can actually do myself, and I didn't put much thought or effort into it until this project came around, and it's like, boy, this probably will work. Like, because quite honestly, we got this far because I know a lot of people, and I get in here because I know people get in there because I know, well, I'm running out of people that I know that can get me in places, so I need to try something else.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it. We're still in our infancy. Hopefully this new employee, she can reach out, find some new people and drag them in for me, but we'll see.
Well, excellent answer. And let's go here. So you had a great mentor, your hero growing up, your dad, James, and, wonderful businessman. What business advice, you've been a long time. How many years have you been an entrepreneur now? 20, how many? 20 plus?
24, I guess.
24 years. What is the best business advice either you received or that you'd love to share along, maybe your younger self or a young entrepreneur out there? What's best business advice that you'd love to pass along?
I guess from my experience with the engines, I would say just because something was working in the past doesn't mean you should keep doing it in the future.
Yep.
I beat my head off the wall for a long, long time working on engines specifically and only.
Yeah.
And then, I got into this, and then I got into, these shutdowns and going over and working, rebuilding pumps, rebuilding mixers. And they're like, geez, how about rebuilding stuff? Where'd you learn all this? And I was like, well, engines, obviously. But it translates into so many other things.
Yeah.
And it's quite honestly, to me, it's better, So just if it's not working, make a change. That's my.
There you go.
Make a change. And you know what? And drop the mic right there, because I love that. It's so easy. I've got a quote right here. It says that comfort zone is like the death of dreams.
Yes,
comfort zone is the death of dreams. And my hat's off to you, Andy. I know you and I goof around a lot, but I really admire that. Takes a lot of courage. And I know we need to start winding down, or we need to wind down. But when you started having that aha moment of making this transition, exciting, scary, did ever oh my goodness, can I really do this, not do engines? What were the emotions, or what was going through your mind when you were making that transition?
Mike.
It's all about Mike.
Mike's like, we'll be
let's see the hand.
Get rid of these engines.
Where's the hand? There it is. There's the hand.
Mike was the driving force. He's like, you need to get these out of here.
You need to get these out of here. And I was there the day that you got rid of your last engine. I don't know if you remember that, but I was the day I should have brought a bottle of champagne. We could have smashed the champagne on your last engine was going out the door the day I was there last.
Oh, the big one.
The big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
That was
got another comment. Yeah, very cool. We got another comment from Diane Byer here. If it isn't on the internet, it doesn't exist. The quote from Andy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Quote of the week right there.
Quote of
Diane,
the week.
Thank you.
Awesome.
She's got one more.
Yeah. Here we go. And then the quote is replaced with, if it isn't working, make the change. That's a drop the mic moment.
Drop the mic. I agree with you, Diane. Thank you. Thank you for the comments here. Andy, we're going to wrap up, dude. What are you super excited about for 2026 with at Truco Machine? Again, friends, stop by, connect with Andy O'Connor on LinkedIn, go to Truco Machine, check out his website. If you're a machine shop, if you're a manufacturer, you're like, oh my goodness, I feel behind. You're not behind. You can get a new website, get e-commerce. Andy's done it. Andy, what are you super excited about for 2026?
Well, 2025 was the last year of the engine, and we transitioned to just CNC machining and stuff, and I've got just about all the equipment I need out there in the shop, and it's just a matter of doing a little bit of cleaning up and fixing up and organizing and getting it just right. And I think we're going to probably add some more help here in the shop in the near future. So I'm excited to like go get them, like go get some more customers and bring some more parts in, and a few more helpers, and just start really getting the ball rolling on producing people's stuff and getting it out. I don't have people calling me, hey, when are my cylinder heads going to be ready? I dropped off 3 weeks ago. Like, they're not calling me, bothering me anymore when I'm trying to work on growing this aspect of the business. And
doesn't that feel great?
It does.
Niching down, man, and it doesn't hurt. It hurts so good right now. So This is, I tell you, what an inspiration you are, Andy. Thank you. Hey, you know what? I'm going to go there. One last question for you, Andy. You ready?
Sure.
I know you're a big hockey fan. You're a hockey player, hockey dad, all the above. Are you a baseball guy? Are you a baseball guy?
Not so much, no.
Okay. No.
Football, just the Bills. Hockey,
I think the Bills moved. I don't think Buffalo has a team anymore, right? They
Oh, everybody's so disappointed that they fired McDermott. It's just heartbreaking for everybody. Like, what are you thinking? Of course, we watched the same owner make stupid decisions with the Sabres for 15 years. So it's like, okay, now it transferred to the Bills.
Hey, we're used to it. We're just used to it. So
at least my son isn't in tears this year when they lost. He's come to realize that this is just the way it is.
He's now, after 8 years, he's immune to it. So but it's I hear you. So
he was crying the last couple of years, and then this year he's like, man, it's just the way the Bills are. We call it Billsy. They're being very Billsy.
Being very Bill, So you know what? We'll close out on that. We'll close out on that. So, Andy, Mike, the hand one more time. Let's see the hand. There he is. So, Mike, thank you guys. I know you're super busy. Thank you for taking time to join us today. What an honor, what a privilege to be on your journey with you guys. Damon, what are your thoughts as we wrap up?
It's super cool how you position your company. First of all, coming away from the engine rebuilding and all the technical things that takes, and moving into now building these specialty parts, really high value, and being able to do it without prints is super cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Well done. So, hey, you've been hanging out with us for the past however long it's been. Let's give Andy a big standing ovation, Damon. How about a big round of applause? Well done, my friend.
Yes.
And, the guy that was never on camera, now we can't get him off it.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So, all right, we're going to wind down. So I want to wish everybody a wonderful, amazing, incredible weekend. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to be back next week with a wonderful, incredible guest. And I'll tell you, when you part, how about this? Go out and just be someone's inspiration, just like our dear friend Andy, and you too can make the world a better place. Damon, why don't you close us out? Andy, hang out with us for 1 second. God bless everybody. Damon, take it away.
All right. Awesome. Well, Andy, thanks so much for being here. And it was awesome today talking about digital game plan strategies with you guys there at Truco Machine. I want to thank Diane and everyone else that dropped the comments in there during the show. Appreciate you. Appreciate all those listeners out there. If you got into this thing late, you want to go back to the beginning and listen to Andy and the story and the way they've transitioned their machine shop into a specialty, I would just say, manufacturing mega place, or whatever the heck you want to call it, that is really making a difference in these food and pharmaceutical companies. It's just so cool. Thanks, everyone. We'll be back again next week.
Thanks for having me.